talk about Creative Commons.
Hey there, hi everybody down at Fog Lounge in Windsor, Ontario. My name's Rod Lucy.
This is Todd's twin brother, by the way. Rod and Todd, yes.
I'm a teacher up here in Kamoka, Ontario. I've been working for about 21 years using all kinds of technology to teach kids. And one of the recent evolutions of technology is the use of media in school, both audio, video, text, photo, you name it. The trick is that a lot of the stuff that kids want to create with, they have no clue about copyright and about which things they can use legally and not. And as creators and artists, not only do they need to know what they can and can't do, but you as artists, regardless of what you're trying to create, there are ways that you can license your work or take advantage of other people's licensed work to make a richer creation. So the topic of the presentation I put together for you is called Creative Commons, What Every Creator Needs to Know. And I'm doing this on behalf of my brother Tom, my little brother there. So you guys, while you're down there at the lounge, be sure and partake of beverages and socialize and get what you can out of the presentation. And at the end, I'll give you an idea about how you can get a hold of me. And if you have any questions, I'll be glad to participate in further discussions with you. But that's what it's all about. So let me share this, and you guys take it for what it's worth. The first idea is the idea that digital tools are out there in great abundance, and they're out there far more than they have been ever in our recent past. Um, these tools foster the creation of media, the distribution of media, be it downloads, piloted or pirated work, or legitimate downloads of work, or sharing on websites and content areas, and the use of that media, be it on any kind of device nowadays. Computers, okay, televisions now. What about cell phones and iPods? All of these devices are prone to be used to play all kinds of media and can be used to share media with other people. So whether the device is used for creation, distribution, or use, there are tons of tools out there that you're taking advantage of. The trick is that as a creator, you may or may not know that whatever you create automatically, by default, has an all rights reserved license attached to it. That means no one can take a book that you wrote, a song that you wrote, a story that you wrote. No one can take a picture, photograph, or movie that you wrote and use it for anything unless you give them permission to do that. That includes they can't copy it, they can't cut it apart and use parts of it, they can't remix it, they can't give it away. The license says that you reserve all rights, and although you can grant them rights, in order to get them, they'd have to contact you first. The exception to that is public domain content, which has been around long enough that the people who own the rights to it have passed on. Usually a number of years have passed, 30 or 75 years or whatever it is, before that content comes into the public domain. But other things that were created by some licensed agencies and governments sometimes automatically get a public license that make it available to everybody because it was created with dollars from the people. What Creative Commons purports to do is fills that gap so that people that are alive as creators can grant license to use their work in a variety of ways without people having to reach them and get permission first. It's not limiting what potentially the things could be shared, but it's putting out there automatically as a starting point ways you can legitimately use audio, video, photograph, text, ideas, anything that people share electronically, and that's what it's all about. So Creative Commons, I've got a little bit of a story to tell you in photographs, and the stories are about Big Buck Bunny and the Creative Commons. Um, the characters, anyway. The story has been created using licensed work from Big Buck Bunny, which is a movie that's available for free download, and it's licensed for creative use by just about anybody in the world. So you can take the content of all of these artists, all of the musicians, all of the storyboarder people, all of the people who draft, produce, and create this particular animated picture, Buck Bunny. Anybody who wants to use it can use it. So I took screen captures and I remixed it into a story about Creative Commons as an example of what can be done when we support one another in our creative work. Now, Lawrence Lessig is a lawyer. He's actually, is it Harvard or Yale or one of the top law schools, might have been Stanford, is where he comes from. And he actually founded the Creative Commons as a way of saying, hey, we need to make people not criminals when they go and create content. Anybody who creates anything, if they write a story, a song, make a picture, whatever they do is got something tied to the past. You don't make an idea based on thin air. You make it based on your personal experiences and ideas, and the things that have impacted you are things that you've read, seen, watched, participated in. There's no real way to go back in time and document everything that's ever influenced you in your life, but everything you create is based on some experience or idea that you've had that's been triggered by something, and it's often a piece of media. So how about if those pieces of media are actually licensed for use? That's what the Creative Commons is all about. So regardless of what you create, your ideas have to come from someplace. That's the key part of the story. We have an understanding in general society that if it's electronic and it's digital, if you're a young person, you don't see it as theft that you share that freely or easily. Even as an adult, you might freely download videos or share content electronically that doesn't technically belong to you. If you've ever shared an electronic copy of a software program, a digital game, you've broken copyright by sharing that electronically. But what's happened is we've turned all of our young people into thieves by doing that. So if they download an MP3 song and play it on their MP3 player, you know what? They're breaking copyright. If they make a new piece based on that, they're also breaking copyright. So what's the Creative Commons do? Well, it empowers you, the creator, and allows you to decide what can be done with your stuff. You get to say exactly how it can be used, and you can make it available to other people. And those people might choose to share it. You might say just be able to give it away to other people and show it to other people. Or you might allow people to cut it up and use it in different ways, remix it, add new content, add their ideas, add other pieces of media to it. You might allow people to perform it, whether it's singing a song, performing a play, reenacting a story, taking a movie and showing it for other people. These are all performances that you can allow. And the idea of mashing things up, cutting them up, rejigging them, changing the speed of them, changing the quality of the lighting, cropping things, editing them, all these things are forms of mashing up media which you can legitimize and allow through Creative Commons licensing. So you can help other creators. And in doing so, promote your own work. I'll share with you a few examples in just a moment of people that have successfully done just that. But you can find out a whole lot more at creativecommons.org. And the film that I've spoken about is available at buckbunny.org. And if you go to that website, I'll show you a link a little bit later on, that credit line at the bottom is what's called an attribution. It's saying where the resource came from. So we know that sharing is already taking place. People are electronically sharing files of all types of media, especially the audio and the video and the computer programs and the games and all of that. So what do we do to legitimize that work and that sharing? That's what Creative Commons is all about. So the licenses vary. There are a variety of different licenses that you can attach to your content. One of the things I'd like to bring to your attention is that there are sites out there that allow you to take your content and actually attach licenses when you post and share it. An example, the slideshow Big Buck Bunny in the Creative Commons, that section that I showed you earlier, I broke that down and posted it as a slideshow last week. And when I did so at SlideShare, a place where other people around the world are sharing their slideshows, I was allowed to attach a Creative Commons license to it. As I do with all my work, I put a, what is it? It allows the remixing and sharing of the content as long as you give credit to it. It's a Creative Commons license, 2.5 Canadian license is what I gave it. More on that in just a second.